Hey, what is up, awesome people? 𝐂𝐇𝐀𝐍𝐊 here with Got Gaming, and I'm going to be taking you through an absolute beginner's guide to Monster Hunter World, because that was what I was to this franchise, an absolute beginner, and pretty much completely unfamiliar with the franchise. I know most of the past installments were released on Nintendo 3DS, and I'm not much of a handheld gamer, but so far I'm loving the game. If I had to describe it to someone, I would say it's a cross between Fable and The Witcher. Now, there are some things I wish I would have known before starting to play Monster Hunter World, and I think if you're coming into this game new and you know these things right from the start, it's going to save you a lot of time and frustration, because Monster Hunter World can be a little bit confusing. Now, the first thing is you need to read the dialogue and the tutorials. And I'm guilty for not doing that, and I don't recommend it in this game. By skipping through and not reading those tutorials, you're going to miss a lot of important information. So make sure to take the time to read those. After making it through the beginning cutscenes, you're going to enter into Astera. You're going to take a quick guided tour of the town, and I'm going to go into more detail about each one of those areas here in a minute. Also, they're going to ask you to choose a weapon. The weapon you choose is not permanent, and you can change your weapon at any time, but I recommend starting with either the Hunter's Knife and Shield or the Buster Sword. Now, combat is not really difficult. It's just a series of button combinations that you're going to see in the top right-hand corner, but some of the other weapons have more advanced abilities, more advanced combinations, and they're going to offer you less mobility, and that just may be a little bit too much for someone new to take on. So I definitely recommend starting out with one of those weapons until you do get a feel for the combat. After you choose your weapon, they're going to send you on a couple quests, and after you complete those quests, you're eventually going to unlock all the areas in the town. And I'm going to walk through the town here and explain in detail which each of these areas are for. The first area here is the Research Center, and at the Research Center you can pick up and turn in bounties. Bounties are what many games refer to as daily quests. And as you go on main quests, you'll be able to work on and complete these bounties. They're objective-based, like collect mushrooms or harvest flowers. But in order to work on a bounty, you first need to register it. And you can have 6 bounties registered at a time. So select the bounty from the request box and click on it to move it over to the registered tab. There are also critical bounties and limited bounties. The critical bounties are part of the story, and those will populate as the story progresses. And the limited bounties are bounties which will expire, and then they will be replaced by new bounties. These are generally more difficult. Completing the registered, critical, and limited bounties are very important, because as you complete them and turn them back into the Resource Center, you'll be rewarded with armor, spheres, and research points. Also, at the Research Center, you have the option of registering investigations. And investigations are mini quests which you will unlock as you encounter monsters in the wild, or you examine their tracks and their various traces. As new investigations are added, you're then going to need to register them at the Research Center in order to add them to your available investigations at the posting board. And you might notice that you're going to be getting a lot of duplicates of the same investigation. And that's because through the course of exploring, you are more than likely going to be examining the same tracks and tracking the same creature more than once. And as you do that, you're going to be picking up the same investigation again and again. And the final entry is Delivery Quest. Researchers will request items, and you're going to go out and collect them. And once you've collected the items, you turn them in at the Research Center. Now, directly in back of the Resource Center is Ecological Research, and you want to talk to this little guy right here, the Chief Ecological Researcher. You gain research points by completing bounties, collecting info on creatures like tracks or feathers, and by defeating and capturing creatures. And as you gain those points, your research level will go up. And you can visit this guy right here to see those levels. Increasing research on individual monsters is important because it will level up your scout flies, and that gives them the ability to better track the monsters. Increasing research is also going to update your field research guide that gives you important information about the creatures, like their vulnerable points. You can then lock onto those points while in combat by clicking in the right thumbstick, Once locked in, you'll then begin targeting that specific area of the monster, and you will have the possibility of either breaking or severing apart. Next, we're going to head up the stairs and we're going to visit the blacksmith on the 2nd floor. And he has 6 different options. Right now, we're only interested in the top 3. I'm going to select forge equipment and then weapons. I already have an Iron Buster Sword 1, but he can also craft for me a Bone Blade 1. But in order for him to craft that for me, it requires 1 Monster Bone S and 200 credits. I have the Monster Bone and plenty of credits, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. Next, I'm going to go to upgrade equipment and select the Metal Buster Sword. This is going to display a weapon upgrade tree. Now on the right hand side you can see the weapon stats. This sword right here has an attack of 384. Here is the sharpness level, which is the cutting power of your weapon and its damage output. Here's the affinity level of the weapon. Affinity is a statistic that helps determine how much of a chance a weapon has to deal additional damage or critical damage. And here is the elemental damage. And elemental damage is like fire damage or poison. Now back over to the upgrade tree, I currently have the metal sword equipped, so I'm starting in the ore tree. And any upgrades I'm able to take will be flashing with an arrow up. To upgrade to Buster Sword 2 is going to require 2 iron ore and 200 credits. And once I've upgraded the sword, now that's going to unlock 3 new upgrades that I can follow on that tree. I don't have the materials right now to upgrade to Buster Sword 3, but I can upgrade to 𝐊𝐿 Blade 1, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Once I do the upgrade, now I'm going to be following the 𝐊𝐿 tree. But say I eventually do get those materials to upgrade to Buster Sword 3, I can't go back and select that and upgrade to it because I'm now following the 𝐊𝐿 tree. I do have 2 options though. I can forge another metal sword and upgrade it, or I can downgrade the 𝐊𝐿 sword by selecting the box with the L arrows going down. This will return the upgrade materials to me, and then I can upgrade again to the Buster Sword 3. There is another tree below, and that is the bone tree, but I'm unable to reach that tree with the metal sword. In order to do that, I need to upgrade the bone sword, so I'll go back and I'll select the Bone Blade 1, and now I'll be able to upgrade that sword. And all weapons are going to follow the same upgrade system. Now I'm going to go back to Forge Equipment and I'll select Armor. In this list is all the different armor pieces you currently have unlocked and are able to forge if you have the required materials. And as you defeat new monsters, additional types of armor will be unlocked. Each piece of armor has a level, a defensive number against general attacks, and then an additional defensive bonus against different elemental damage types. So the leather headpiece here has a base defense of 2, but against fire damage, it's going to give you a +2 defensive bonus. Also, each piece of armor has a skill attached to it, and by pressing this button right here, you can get more info on what that skill does. And as you go through these, you're going to see that some skills are better than others. My recommendation for a beginner is to craft both the bone helm and the bone chest piece. That's going to give you a +15 health bonus and a +3 attack bonus. And then once you have the materials to craft them, then you want to craft both the 𝐊𝐿 vambraces and the coil. Next part of this is going to be upgrading armor. We're going to go back to upgrade equipment, and then we're going to select the piece of equipment we'd like to upgrade. Upgrading armor requires armor spheres, which is rewarded for completing quests and bounties that we turn in at the resource center. The type of sphere that we're going to need is shown here, and the amount per an upgrade, and the amount that we have. Now we're just going to click on the upgrade. Now just arrow up or down to adjust the amount of spheres you'd like to use, and on the right hand side we can see by upgrading the armor what changes it will have to the stats. If you're happy with the upgrade, then go ahead and click on the button. Click on the upgrade button. Also for the blacksmith, you're able to forge equipment for your palico. Your palico is able to equip a weapon, a headgear piece, and a chest piece. And the equipment for the palico follows the same system as it does for your gear regarding materials, cost, and stats. And the last thing, at the blacksmith, you can also change your equipment and you can manage loadouts. The armory, which is located directly across from the blacksmith, allows you to purchase the same weapons and equipment that you can forge at the blacksmith, but they don't require you to use materials, so you're going to be paying more credits. Also at this vendor, this is where you can sell your items, and you can change your equipment here also. The next place we want to visit is the canteen. That's on the 3rd floor. And at the canteen you can purchase meals if you have the ingredients required. The meal will then give you a bonus for the remainder of the next quest you go on. You can choose to pay with either money or points or vouchers, which you earn through daily login bonuses. You can scroll down through the menu items here, and the effects to your stats are going to be listed up here, and the status effects you're going to receive are right here. This is a pretty easy way to get a bonus for both you and your palico, so you want to visit the canteen before you go out on any hunt or investigation. Okay, and the last location we want to go to is up this staircase. This leads to the gathering hub. In this area that we're in right now, this is your personal area. You're never going to see another player in this area, not even your friends or your squad mates. In order to meet up and visually see another player without being in a hunt together, you're going to have to go to the gathering hub. And once you're in the hub, right here out in front is the squad manager. This is where you're able to create squads. In other games, we refer to these as guilds, but in Monster Hunter World, they are called squads. Also, from the Gathering Hub, you're going to have access to an arena, which hosts fights against monsters in an arena setting. These are a little bit different than hunts because you're going to have to choose between predetermined weapon, armor, and item loadouts. Over here is the provision stockpile, where you can buy items like poisons, traps, and bombs. And also from the Gathering Hub, you have access to your room, a quest counter, and a canteen. And that's going to bring us to the final part of this beginner's guide, and that's how to go on an expedition and quest. To join or start a quest, you first need to go to your handler, a quest counter, or a quest board. Your handler is directly across from the canteen on the 3rd floor. A quest counter is in the Gathering Hub, or you can use a quest board on the 1st and 2nd floors. From any of those, you just go up, select them, and then select post or join a quest. Regarding multiplayer, you cannot join a friend's game if they are doing a hunt that requires a higher hunter rank than you are. So if you're rank 2 and your friend is rank 5 and they are doing a rank 3 or higher quest, you cannot join their quest. But your friend who is rank 5 can come in and help you on a level 2 rank quest. And that goes for all assigned and optional quests, investigations, events, and arenas. And things get even a little crazier with assigned quests. Assigned quests are the main storyline quests. And if you are on the same quest as your friend, and you're the same level, you still cannot join one another until the final monster fight. After all the cutscenes, when you're at that main monster fight, you or your friend can then fire an SOS, and they can join you or you can join them. I mean, this whole system makes no sense to me. It's not a great system, and it's really more confusing than it should be. And to complicate matters even more, to invite a friend to join, you both need to be in the same session. So from the main menu, I can either create a session or join the squad session. If I create a session, once I enter, I'll then need to send an invite to my friend to join that session. Now, if I do a squad session, it's going to automatically put me into a session with my squad mates, or if one does not exist, it's going to create one that they can then join. So once I'm in the session, I'll then post a new quest, set the amount of players, and if I want a passcode. Once that's posted, then my friends and squad mates can go to the quest counter or the quest board and join the quest. And once they've joined that quest, it will then launch. And the last thing we have are expeditions, and expeditions are when you travel to an area without any quest, and that's going to allow you to explore freely without any time constraints. To enter an expedition, all you have to do is exit the gates, then pull up your world map and select the area you'd like to travel to. While you're on an expedition, you can explore the map freely. You're able to complete your bounties and hunt monsters. But do be aware, if you're in an expedition and you're fighting a monster, it's not part of a quest, so they can actually leave the area in the middle of you fighting it. Friends and squad mates are not able to join you in an active expedition. The only way a friend or a squad mate can join you on an expedition is if you post a quest, you go to the quest together, and after you complete it, the quest will send you back to camp and turn into an expedition. So to wrap all this up, choose a weapon you're comfortable with, pick up quests from NPCs, register bounties, purchase meals from the canteen, either post or join quests, then complete the quests and bounties to collect materials, research points, and orbs. Then you want to return back to town. Then you want to report to the research center to collect your rewards. Report to ecological research to update the field manual. Go to the blacksmith and upgrade your armor and weapons. And then finally, you're going to do it all over again. So I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have a good one. Later.